Good evening, everybody. On tonight's episode of Societal Deconstruction, we're featuring D-Wite one more time in the episode My One Black Friend Part 2. This will be podcast number 5. How you doing, D-Wite?
I'm good. And I had such a good time the first time. I had to do it twice. So nice, I had to do it twice.
All right.
Dwight.
That's awesome. Well, we are happy to have you here again. It was fun last time, too. So, we're going to talk about basically the same things as last time, but just get a little deeper into it. We felt like we still had a lot of stuff to touch on from the last episode.
Barely scraped the surface.
Yes.
Barely scraped the surface.
Yes. So, let's see. What do you think about cultural appropriation?
Cultural appropriation. That's a great topic to cover, honestly, because I appreciate other cultures and the thing that they offer, and I have a disdain for people who, do the cultural appropriation, kind of like, they take from black people, but not giving us our credit.
Mm-hmm.
Or
I never even really knew what the heck that meant.
Yeah, like, I'll give you an example of cultural appropriation. Vanilla Ice.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
He was kind of good in his own way, though.
I mean, he was popular. Yeah, but it depends on your view, because,
What about Eminem?
Eminem, people have made that claim, but you really can't.
He has actual talent.
Yeah, but barred from that, just like he was so ingrained in hip hop, like
the way he fought himself.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's been in it and been through it, and you can't say he's a cultural appropriator when he's a part of the culture,
Right.
It's like more or less it's just outsiders, picking what they want from a certain people, not even just black people, and is kind of benefiting from it and not really, paying homage to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Homage.
Yeah.
Homage. Yeah,
it's almost like a fetish. They fetishize, a certain culture or a certain aspect of a culture, and that's fucked up because we as people we have such rich culture and things that we do. And for anyone to just take it and be like, oh, this one thing's cool.
Yeah.
Let me just do it.
Yeah.
And not really, appreciate or even get to understand the full spectrum of it. It's disrespectful.
The first time I ever heard that term was quite a while ago. And it was with Gwen Stefani when she left No Doubt. And she was doing that Harajuku? I don't mean to laugh because that's cultural appropriating.
Oh, man.
Harajuku?
Harry can't. I know what you're trying to say, but I can't remember the term.
Hachikachi juju.
Haka hoo.
Well, anyway, it was Japanese. They're Japanese girls or something.
Oh.
And they dress a certain way, and I think they put makeup on a certain way.
Okay.
Maybe they all look the same, kind of.
Yeah.
Harajuku. I think that's it. And she like dressed up like them for her tour, or she had dancers that were dressed up like them, or something like that. And they were saying that was cultural appropriation to the Japanese.
That is correct.
Yes.
She saw something that's pretty neat. I'm gonna put it in my torrent, and then people will fucking love it. But you don't really understand.
So you can't just take something from another race and put it in your tour?
No, you can't. No.
I bet you could if you're making that kind of money.
Exactly.
Yeah, for real. Jeez. But who's going to say, hey, Gwen, you can't do that? Later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Passive aggressive.
Very much so.
Oh, I don't like passive aggressive. I just like that very much.
Yes, Jen is very much aggressive.
Aggressive. I will tell you right to your face what I don't like. We don't beat around the bush here.
No.
But it's better then because you get it all out.
Oh yeah, I'm a very the older I get, the more straight line and just fucking honest I am.
You don't have time for the bullshit anymore.
Nah, bro.
Every moment is precious.
Yeah.
We don't know how long we're gonna be here.
Exactly.
We could die tomorrow.
I might not make it.
Of old age.
Yeah,
I might
exactly.
not make it. We're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah. Amen, sister.
Amen, brother. With that water's delicious. Yeah. All right. Well, on that tone, what about white privilege?
Ooh, white privilege.
This is a good topic, I think.
Yeah. White privilege is not in a like you're born white and you have like this ticket and you just go to an office and
like
be
that's like right,
white
right.
privilege, like here you're rich
that's
now.
Because I never knew what white privilege was until the George Floyd stuff and Black Lives Matter stuff and all that was on the news, and I was watching the news at that point, and they kind of explained it better. But I always thought, yeah, it's just you're born white. You have this privilege. You don't get pulled over by the cops because you're white. You don't get harassed because you're white. You get good jobs because you're white. You go to good schools because you're white. Stuff like that. I just thought that was white privilege, but I didn't understand all the underlying stuff that Black people go through.
Our experiences
not white
are
privilege
completely
at all.
different.
Yeah, completely.
Like one kind of example of white privilege that I use is like the white male is allowed to be angry. Like, they're allowed to be the fucking emote anger. They'll be like, fuck, shit, god dang it. And
even
it's
though
okay.
they look like morons.
Exactly. Like, I have to be conscious of my temperament.
Because you might get arrested.
It's like, I might get shot. I might not make it fucking home.
You might not make it.
For real.
You might not make it.
Might not make it.
Might not make it.
Yeah, and that's white privilege. Like, they're allowed to fucking be pissed off and angry.
And just like a Black woman.
Yeah, hey, how they fucking separated from the British and founded America? They got fucking angry over some fucking tea taxes, bro.
Well, rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully they were wild.
But, and then it same goes with the black woman. If the Black woman starts yelling, then she's just an angry Black woman.
She's a woman and she's Black.
Right, nothing that she said is everything she says is just nullified because of that.
The Black woman experience is definitely a tormented one because she's both Black and a woman.
Yeah, she's got 2 strikes against her.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, I was thinking the other day that were we just born lucky?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Even though you're Black, I still think you were born lucky.
Yes, but I grew up in a 2-parent household.
Yep.
I was never on government assistance, and the majority of my living experience has been middle class. Like, I've never been. I can't say I'm lower class. Like,
yours isn't the typical Black experience, but I think at this day and age, a lot of people have that same. A lot of Black people have the same experience as you because a lot of people have gotten a lot better.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And you're right. Like I guess my upbringing and just how it was, like, wasn't atypical. But like as we progress more as a people, like it's more of a standard. It's not like an anomaly, you know. And
that's good too.
Yeah.
It's nice to see.
It's progress.
Yeah, definitely. Because man, back when the crack epidemic in the inner cities and stuff, that was terrible.
It ravaged families and communities.
Like, I can imagine what it would be like to be a kid growing up in that kind of thing. I wrote a blog about it, and I, did some research on it and stuff, and all I could think about was, like, being a little kid in those, in the city, like, whether they were in the what do you call those apartments?
Well, projects.
Whether they were in the projects or, houses or whatever, but
the ghetto.
You think their parents could have been crack dealers, their grandparents could have been crack dealers, their aunts and uncles could have been crack dealers, their cousins,
that's the biggest misconception.
Like,
when people hear, like, someone's like a lifelong criminal and again, drug games, like, well, they should have did better. They should have picked them up by their bootstraps and da-da-da. Like, no. If you're born into a situation where that's all that is around you.
And the only thing,
if your motherfucking grandfather sold dope, your father sold dope, his uncle sold dope, your fucking mommy was selling dope, what do you think you're gonna do?
Yeah.
You're gonna sell dope. And it's
you're not gonna think there's anything wrong with it.
It's not because you're evil or nefarious. You're trying to fucking destroy the community. It's like, that's how you fucking, that's the way.
And in that case, possibly the only way.
And the only way, yeah.
There wasn't like tons of like
stores
you could go work at.
If you live in a community bereft of opportunities,
there's no landscaping jobs. There was no landscaping.
No.
I mean, for Christ's sake, there was nothing you could do. There wasn't stores you could go work at. There wasn't. I mean, it was just nothing, right?
No.
Like a wasteland.
You got to play the cards you've been dealt.
And then I was also thinking about. Oh, this is a good one. I was also thinking about rap and hip hop of the early 90s and the 90s, or maybe even I'd say early 90s, that they got so mad at those guys like Biggie and Snoop and Dre and other. I'm sure there's other ones. I don't know them all off the top of my head right now, but how they, what do they call it, what something music
Look.
Shit, I can't think of it. I'll think of it. But why why they sang about, shooting
this
and
pretty much is gangster rap.
Gangster rap. That's
yeah.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Gangster rap, exactly. But that's how those guys grew up. What
Exactly.
else are they going to sing about? They're
You
going to
sing
sing about butterflies and chasing butterflies in a field?
Yeah, you talk about the environment and the things that you see. You're pretty much a reporter.
Exactly.
And they're not responsible for these communities. They didn't build, they didn't have these social constructs that was levied upon them. They didn't choose, these government dollars not going to their communities. The powers that be built this community. So if you want to point a finger at somebody, point a finger at the people who leave these communities, decimated, and motherfuckers just got to try to figure it out. And to me, that's almost a genetic thing.
And they've left them decimated for decades.
Like I was going to make this point. It's a
right?
genetic thing. It goes back to like slavery times, like where we motherfuckers had to eat chitlins. Motherfuckers had to eat whatever, had to do whatever to fucking just make it, and that's just an extension of it.
Yeah, and you guys got, once you were freed and stuff, you had a few years there to maybe try to make it, and then boom, every time you would get
Jim
up,
Crow.
you fucking whacked back down again,
right. Yeah.
And then people wonder why, that race is sometimes is doing as well as ours. Well, why do you fucking think?
Chris Rock made a funny joke about racism. It's like racism is like a game of basketball, and the white people got the ball first and made sure they were up 40 points.
Yep.
That's kind of the big thing with racism. Like, they gave themselves the head start.
Yeah. And then we're like, we won.
You point the finger like, look at you guys. What are you doing?
You suck.
Like, damn, we had to overcome so much. Like, what do you mean? But it's sad, but you gotta keep on going through it.
Gotta keep on going. You gotta keep on going and just be glad that it's not, thank God it's not like that anymore. Thank God that hopefully those cities, those inner cities have all been, not all of them, but I think they're all getting re-gentrified and stuff like that.
Going back to New York, going around certain areas where I walked and they weren't the most savory areas. Now they're completely different.
I was in East Cleveland a few months ago and that was pretty bad, to be honest with you. That was still pretty bad. I don't know why the hell I was there.
I never been to Cleveland, but I heard Cleveland's hit as fuck.
CJ got us an Airbnb in East Cleveland.
Oh, man.
Of all places.
He didn't do his research.
Right next to Popeye's Chicken.
Man, exactly. If you're Airbnb there's a Popeye's Chicken at churches or something, bro, just go. Just leave.
And it wasn't even up high where we felt safe. It was this little freestanding, like bungalow, right? with the open parking lot of the Popeyes, and I just felt so exposed. People could be watching us through the windows.
We're gonna get them.
And my friend who's from Cleveland said, don't go to the east side of Cleveland. And CJ gets us a freaking Airbnb on the east side of Cleveland.
On the east side of Cleveland.
And I didn't care. We got in so late, I didn't really care at that time. But when I woke up the next day, I was like, what the fuck? But he only booked it for one night, and we needed 2 nights, so I ended up having to find us another place, and I wasn't too mad about it. I said something like, we're still in the hood, but everything is the hood in Cleveland.
This is one just giant hood.
Which brings me to the question I was going to ask you. Is there a good part of the hood and a bad part of the hood? Is there a part of the hood that you avoided?
Me personally, in my experience growing
I would have just avoided the whole
Yeah,
hood.
Brooklyn. I grew up in a house, but probably 10, 15 minutes down the road with the Vanderveer projects. That was kind of a more off-limit thing. In the 80s, early 90s, I was really drug-infested area, very heavy gang.
That's where all the crack would have been, too.
Yeah.
Damn. All the crack went on when you were growing up.
I know. It's a small miracle.
You're so lucky you were that close to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I give nothing but gratitude and credit to my parents. Cause I grew up in a time where things could have went left, and they kept things right.
For sure. And I think a lot of that is they both came from Guyana, right?
Yeah.
So they were really into changing where they came from, and they didn't want to go right back to Shitville when they got to America.
Yeah, exactly.
They worked
see
hard
that's
to
opportunity.
make things better.
You're from in essence a third world country. You come here for a better life. You gotta make it a better life, regardless of what situations you come into.
Yeah, I wouldn't see them going sideways and selling crap.
No. Nah.
But you're lucky though. You're definitely lucky.
Definitely.
It could have been way different. I mean, like I said, were we born lucky? Because just down the road, you could have been born just down the road.
Hey, if you made it out the womb breathing.
You're born lucky.
You're born lucky. I wasn't a stillbirth, bro, so
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I have to be lucky, man.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't make it.
You might not make it.
Might not make it.
This
episode sponsored by
The Weeknd.
The Weeknd.
You might not make it.
Just kidding.
I can't feel my face when I'm with you.
Just kidding, please.
Oh, you want me to start singing one? We can sing Jen's party song.
They could be like, licenses with the music. They'll be like, we're going to sue you now. We heard you singing the fucking song, bitch.
Excuse me.
Might not make it in court when we sue you.
There was something on one of the podcast things I went on that is all content must be yours, and the content that's not yours must be signed off or something.
You must get written express consent.
Yes.
Yes. Better not be verbal.
Okay. Huh. Well, since we're on drugs. We're not on drugs, but we were on the topic of drugs. Let's clarify here.
Yeah.
Let's clarify. Black drugs, or the perception of black drugs, or the black people's perception of drugs versus white people's perception of drugs, we should consider.
Yeah, true. Like, that's something, like, with the drug shit, like, I started dabbling when I moved to Florida. And you kind of just see, like, kind of just the demarcation in between black drugs and white drugs. Well, at least for me anyway, like, my perception in my mind. Because I always thought, like, Coke was like a white people drug. The first time I seen Coke.
Like a rich white
Exactly,
man's drug.
exactly. Coke is a rich man's drug. And the first time I seen Coke was at a white person, and I didn't do it. But the first time I actually, dabbled in the mug of sugar, it was with a black person. It was a very prominent dealer at the time. And my first, foray in that was with a black dude.
Yeah. Well, since we didn't have any black dudes in my town, but first time I did it was with these two white dudes, and it was interesting. But I always equated crack with black people because when I moved to South Florida, that was in '92, so it was still the early '90s. It was still the crack epidemic, right? When I moved down there, so I came from Western New York with not even seeing black people or anything in the inner cities, not really seeing any of that ever, except for maybe on the highway going through Buffalo to my grandma's house, and then I'd be like, ooh, I'd be looking, how does everyone else live, because I really only grew up in the country. And, getting to South Florida and you see, I knew they were dealing crack in those areas.
Oh,
yeah. And it scared me, I kind of just tried to stay out of there.
Oh, yeah, very, like, the South Florida area, like, Pompano.
I lived in Pompano, too.
Yeah, Pork and Bean projects, like, all that area.
I lived in Pompano.
Not a great place.
Yeah, I lived right by the beach, though. And I worked in Pompano, too.
Wow.
Yeah. And you go to Miami, where they tell you not to get off the highway.
Yeah. Get your shit jacked, bitch.
What else, though? What about, do black people do psychedelics?
I've done it. I always see myself as kind of like a free spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm down for a good time. Like if I'm not objecting to it, like I'll go with the flow type shit. But like psychedelics, in terms of like black people, that if you're doing psychedelics with black, you're like a weird black guy.
I would say I think it would scare them a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were like,
what you doing?
You doing that shit, man? Like last night, me and Jim were chilling. I was playing heard some music of the people I'm a fan of, and the music that they make, I describe it as weird black people music, because they'll make like off kilter references, like they'll mention nerd shit. They'll talk about.
I really didn't mind it either.
Yeah. One of the tracks names was "Where You Get Your Coke From."
Oh yeah. Yeah. And when I was younger, I used to get it from a black guy. So yeah, I guess it's not just a white man's drug.
Nah, it's perception.
What about pot? I think everybody smokes pot.
Yeah, everyone smokes pot.
That's pretty much.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if you're smoking weed, like it doesn't matter the race. You're just a pothead.
What other drugs are there? Somebody told me that Japanese people liked psychedelics. Isn't that surprising?
Yeah, that's the first time I heard that.
Same here. I was surprised.
Well, but talk like black drugs. There's lean, promethazine.
Oh, lean, yes, yes. Lil Wayne.
Yeah, that drink. What's in my cup is in my cup.
Yeah. Isn't that a big thing in Louisiana, or in like Houston, right?
Oh yeah, Houston. Like it kind of was like one of the big pioneers for it. It's like sip and drink. This is what it's called.
And I used to get that shit when I was a kid. I get really bad coughs.
That shit's expensive as
and I would get it's the cough medicine with codeine in it.
Yeah,
that's what they make it out of, right?
Yeah, it's expensive. Like, expensive.
I remember it was really hard to get from the goddamn doctor.
Yeah.
And I would tell him it's the only way I can sleep at night without coughing. And it made me feel really good, too. Yeah. And I was like a little kid trying to get that shit.
On the street, it's like this shit would go for like $800, $1,000.
That's insane.
$2,000.
It's not even that good. I was thinking as a kid.
Well, I mean, you didn't... you didn't know what you was doing. You just had a fucking sore throat. But look, I heard it's really good, like done recreationally and just drinking. It's like I've never like done it, but
I think I have.
Yeah, I ain't got the money for it.
I don't either, but I feel like somewhere somehow somebody was drinking it and they offered me a sip or something. Where the hell would I have been? That's bizarre. I must have been in South Florida. Want some lean? Where was I hanging out? God, I was everywhere down there. I hung out everywhere. I did everything. I think I did everything there was to do. Went everywhere.
You've lived a wild life.
I've lived lifetimes.
You've lived lives.
If I died tomorrow, I wouldn't regret a thing.
No regrets. Not at all. Not at all.
No. I've traveled. I mean, I still like to see more, but I think I've seen enough to where I feel like I'm satisfied at least. I'm happy and, just grateful for what I've seen and what I've been able to do. Because I have done a lot. I've had some lifetimes.
Experience and then traveling and getting out really shapes you as a human being.
Having my boat and taking my boat to all those places and stuff.
Nice.
You can't ever, you can't describe what that is like.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And you're a different person when you're on a boat. I don't know why. I'm so nice.
I'm a scared person.
I'm cool.
Yeah. I'm cool on boats.
You would have liked it on my boat. My boat was awesome.
When I went to Guyana, we had to take like a big old like ferry where was coming from the airport. I mean, you get from the airport in Guyana. It was cool.
Yeah.
We was just driving. We get to see all like the forestation and everything because Guyana's like a lot of like it's like I think it's like 60 to 70% just like forest because a lot of the.
Is it like rainforest?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And a lot of people. The towns are just on the coast.
But like in the inland is just forest. And probably animals and all kinds of.
You find the wildest shit.
I bet.
Yeah.
Probably like jaguars and stuff like that. I bet.
Yeah.
Because every continent has its big cat.
Yeah.
Like in Africa they're lions and leopards and they have a bunch of them in Africa. But then South America I think they're jaguars and then here they're here we have the Florida
Panthers.
Florida panther.
Yeah.
And out west you have I don't remember. But then in Russia or
like mountain lions are like out west.
Mountain lions, yes. And like Russia and Nepal and like the Himalayan mountains, you have the snow leopard.
Ooh.
And they like blend into the snowy mountains and stuff. I watched a lot of them, National Geographic.
Man, you're like just a treasure trove of information.
I have so much useless information in my head, but I can't remember what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
I'd be great for
she could just give you the whole breakdown of big cats around the fucking world.
We could do another podcast on it.
Yeah.
Big cats around the world.
I'll tell you, she'll lose her pen that's in her hand. I'm not joking.
Oh goodness. Wow. But yeah, it's interesting. So I was thinking since Guyana is right off of South America.
Yeah.
Or it is northern South America, correct? It's not an island.
No,
it's the north part of South
Yes.
America. Okay. Yeah, it took me a while to figure that out, but I'm decent with geography, usually. So what about? Let's see. Well, Tits McGee, do you think we are cheap or frugal? That was dumb.
Growing up, I always thought my parents were cheap, especially my dad, but now I know they were just frugal. And frugality is just being smart.
Absolutely.
And honestly, because there was no way my parents would be able to attain what they attain and live the lifestyle that they do without being frugal.
If they would have bought you a bunch of dumb shit when you were a kid. That wouldn't mean anything to you now.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I wish that rub off. I'm fucking financially not responsible.
Dude, I wanted that Nintendo so fucking bad. My mom would not get me the Nintendo. I grew up with Atari, and I didn't even have the Atari. I had to go to my friend's house to play the goddamn Atari, and go to my friend's house to play the Nintendo. She would not get me the video games. I never had a video game until I moved to Florida, and I was 18, and I played someone else's video game, and I was like, this is Tits McGee!
Tits LaRue!
Tits LaRue! Oh my goodness.
We had gaming systems growing up, but it always be like a generation behind.
Yeah, you
like
the old,
I get like motherfuckers on Super Nintendo. I was still fucking up the Nintendo and shit. But it was always fun, like playing like games in the house and shit.
I played it when I first moved to Florida. I played it. I think I was still 18. I played it at this guy's house that I was doing coke with, and it was. I think we were up all night, and he had the Nintendo 64 maybe, but it was like the Street Fighter game. He had the I think the basketball game, and another one. He couldn't get me off that thing. I got a blister. The whole pad of my thumb was one giant blister.
Addicting.
I probably sat there for 16 straight hours without even peeing.
I gamed a lot like early, like growing up, but like I got weaned off of it. But like it's addicting, bro. It really is.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was like I had nothing that all my peers had played all through high school that I never got to do, and it was like it all came crashing into the very moment. Oh, and then my roommates got mad at me and kicked me out because I was doing coke.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's when I moved to Pompano. As a matter of fact. This girl that I was working with actually let me. She was living in her dad's friend's house for free. And it wasn't a great area of Pompano either. It wasn't I wouldn't say in the hood, but it was like borderline. The cusp. Yeah. But we were working together at the Briny Pub, and we became friends. She offered to let me live there for free for a couple months and save up money to get my own place, because I was just renting a room in people's house and it wasn't ideal. And so I was like, fuck yeah. So I had a room there. I didn't pay anything. I stayed there for like 2 or 3 months, saved up money, went and got my own place in Deerfield Beach, right on A1A.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, it was $650 a month. It was on A1A. You could see the ocean from the living room window in between the condos.
Wow.
I wasn't on the beach. I was across the street from the beach.
Can't get that.
$650
Can't get that today.
It was a 1-bedroom. Had a full bedroom, kitchen, living room, bathroom.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was amazing. Is Coco going to survive this podcast?
I don't know.
Oh, poor girl, poor girl.
Prayers up for Coco, please, if you're listening.
Yes, please pray for my little doggy. I think she has congestive heart failure. But she's getting through it.
Yeah.
She got out today.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Outside. Usually when she gets out, she runs. Like, she'll run blocks. Like, she thinks the grass is always greener. Ava, like hides and shakes in the corner.
Yeah. She ain't going. Ava's not going
runs
nowhere.
for her life. Like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here.
I only have so much life to live.
Oh my god! And I had just gotten out of the shower, so I had a towel around me.
Oh man!
And Blake, my roommate, and his son were outside, and his son had left both doors open. And I was like, I looked around for Coco. I'm in a towel. I couldn't even go run outside and look for her. It was terrible. I had to come in and like throw some on real quick. And luckily, she came back in. She never does that. Good girl, Coco. Good girl. Well, let's see. You know what I find very interesting is, speaking of society and desecrating society. This podcast might have some bloopers. Might have some bloopers in it.
It's not going to be the smoothest. Not going to lie to you.
Not the smoothest one we're doing, but you know what? Sometimes those are funny. The constructs of society. Now, do you think a species of people? Is that right? A species of humans?
Well, human is a species.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it would be like a race of humans?
Yeah.
Okay. Like these people that live off the coast of India somewhere, something like that. And they live on this island, and nobody's ever really gone there. They've just lived there alone. They're the Sentinelese, and they've lived on the island alone since the beginning of time, and they still are, and they live the way they've always lived. And you can't go within a 5-mile radius of the island, or they'll shoot you with bows and arrows.
Murder you.
And they won't ever get prosecuted. They leave
them
the fuck alone.
Yeah.
And it's estimated that, catch this, there's between 10 and 400 people living on the island. So they really have a clue how many people are on that island, right? Idea. They have no idea. They're not getting close.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that's a utopian society or perfect, but
I bet they're happy as fuck.
They're content. And it's the common misconception of human beings and our existence is we think that adding more things to our life completes our life or making it a better experience.
I think having less things, taking more shit away from you
most definitely
gives you a better experience. Because we just, like the keeping up with the Joneses mentality.
Yeah, we worry about so much things that
makes me sick.
when we actually break it down and look at it. It's nothing. It's literally nothing.
It's garbage. It's stuff you just end up throwing away.
You don't need it.
No.
Yeah, I have a theory on just the evolution of human beings. Mm-hmm. Like, I say up until the point where we wanted beer cold, because beer's been around for forever.
Yeah.
That's the downfall of society.
Yeah.
Because the inventions before were just, for necessity. Motherfuckers made fire because motherfuckers got cold.
Right. They made the metal for tools.
Right. Then we got beer. All right, cool. But the first motherfuckers who said, hey, let's try this bitch cold. And then we started building refrigerators. And then we started doing this, that, this. And we started...
It all became stuff that we wanted, not stuff that we needed.
Convenience. We love convenience so much. We have a place called the convenience store.
Yep. And it became wants over needs.
Why? Because it was convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wants over needs.
Yep.
Because when you think about the stuff that you truly need on a daily basis,
it's not much.
It's not much. But we've programmed ourselves to think like, I need this, I need that, I need that.
And I don't
materialism.
Yeah, I don't really prescribe to that too much. Like, I'm more like, I don't spend a lot of money. I don't buy a lot of stuff. Like, most of the things in my house, I was looking at my house a couple weeks ago. I was thinking, most of the stuff in my house is sentimental. It's been either given to me, made by somebody, or I bought it like on a travel or something, or photos of my kids or something. But like, other than like my bed, I haven't hardly bought anything in here. The dresser I have was refinished by my dad. It was in my room as a child. The TV I had was traded with my friend in this crazy trading deal we did a couple years ago. Doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, and things on the walls were given to me by a good friend, and I don't buy a lot of stuff. I'm frugal. I would rather spend it on experiences.
Yeah, me too. I'm all about experiences.
Because stuff is just stuff, and I learned
and
that
memories,
when I got
bro.
divorced.
Like, we live in such a microwave society where we like things just quick, and with that, like, we failed to like value things. Like, there are a few things that we hold as classics and we want to hold on to. Like, we get saying, man, this is cool, and we just throw it away to get the next thing.
Yeah.
Man, this is cool, throw it away and get the next thing. It's this consumerism, just wanting more and more.
Yeah, and I don't care for that mentality at all.
Yeah.
Like, when I was married, it seemed like I was married to a guy, and I don't know, they had some money, more than I guess I had really grown up with, but I didn't really care about that. But his brother and sister were just always into, it seemed like they were just caught in that keeping up mentality, and like they bought this brand new house. It was beautiful. And like 2 years later, they ripped out the whole kitchen and redid the whole kitchen. I'm like, what the fuck? What a fucking waste. What about the kitchen they had? What, did it just go in a fucking garbage pile? You give it to somebody that needed it? How do you give a kitchen to somebody? They even got new appliances. I was shocked. I just couldn't believe it.
A concept that is
I couldn't believe it.
Kind of sorely just underused is contentment. Like, a lot of people just aren't content.
I am.
Yeah, you want to if you're you want to better your situation and become the best person of yourself, yes. But you got to learn how to be content with
You have to learn how to like yourself, and you have to learn how to have peace. You have to learn how to not let other people's bullshit crowd into your little peace bubble.
Facts.
You have to put yourself ahead of everybody else as far as having peace. You can't solve everybody else's problems. People don't care about you that much, so you can't care about them that much.
The number one rule of human existence is self-preservation.
Absolutely. You worry about yourself before anybody else.
Because if you die, you die. And that's
sad
as it sounds.
Anybody.
There's no bunk beds in a casket.
You're born alone and you die alone.
You die alone. And there's another saying, like, you can't fill from an empty cup. Like, I'm a giver, but I'm learning in life, like, I can't be the best person I am. I can't give to people. I can't be. When you're giving to everybody else, you have nothing left for yourself. Well, yeah, exactly. You're not replenishing. And there's people out there that'll fucking take. They'll take. I still will help people because I've always liked to help people. To people that are just down and out, and I just feel so bad in the situation that they're in, and they're just in a situation that it seems like they're just about to get fucked. You know what I mean? They're just about to lose their place, or their car broke down, and they're ready to have a baby, or their electricity got shut off, or something like that. I tend to help people like that, or someone who's been in prison for 30 years for just stuff like that. The underdog. I've always fought for the underdog. Oh yeah. And I still do that. I still do that once in a while, but I rarely do it. I used to do it a lot.
I used to do a lot.
I understand, like, you're kind of like your temperament towards giving and like you not wanting to give because people have definitely fucked you over.
And I won't give to somebody that can help themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Help
like,
yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not helping you.
My thing was that giving, you kind of have to give without expectation. You just give because that's the kind
true.
of
And I didn't give with any expectations. I would usually tell them, "Don't pay me back."
Yeah, you definitely get to a point where like you kind of gotta love people at a distance. Like you never give anything that you desperately need, or like never give something out of your rent or something that you motherfucking need or whatever. Give something that you're comfortable with not receiving back.
Yeah. And usually I would tell them, don't pay me back. I don't want to have to worry about it. I don't want you to worry about it. Just take it. I'm giving it to you. I would do that. I did that a lot. But I've gotten to the point where I've got more of a steel heart. I don't do it. I don't do it like that anymore. I can't.
And time and fucking the wear and tear of relationships will do that to a person.
I think relationships are the hardest thing in the world to do of life.
Yeah.
Relationships, marriage, and raising kids, I think, are probably the hardest thing. What do you think about marriage, D-Wite? Do you want to get married someday? You've never been married, correct?
That is correct. Honestly, me at the age of 33, I'm just coming into more of just enlightening on myself. I was like, I don't even know if I'm cut out to be married.
And I told him, don't do it. It's a trap. Oh, it's the worst thing you ever do in your life. But I've been divorced, so I come from a cynical view.
It's just like, it's not like I have like such as a jaded view of it. Like I want to have someone to live life with and start a family with, but I don't even know if I have this strength personally, because I mentioned that I live in a 2-parent household. My parents been married and solid, but like I see the true work that it takes to have a marriage and raise kids, and
you don't put yourself first in that situation at all.
Nah,
ever.
And I'm just like, it's a beautiful thing, but it's just like, is that thing something I desperately want? But
and if you don't find somebody that's equally, like, say you've got a certain amount of strength.
Oh,
if
yeah.
You don't find a person
that's a biblical principle. Being equally yoked with
amount
someone.
Of strength with you. So say you find somebody with no strength, you're gonna suffer so badly.
Bro.
It's gonna be terrible. Or you find somebody with so much more strength that they're beating you down the whole time. And
you have to be equally yoked.
It's so hard to find somebody equal. It's so hard. Because when you're first in that brand new falling in love thing, my God, it's like you can't make healthy, good decisions at all.
No.
You're stupid. You're blinded by this love, which I believe is a chemical reaction and imbalance in your brain. And I think it is. It's dopamine. It's
of course.
All the chemicals that are rushing through your brain. I think it's a feeling better than drugs. And you would do anything for that person. You would jump out in front of a moving car for that person. It's like those first couple months or that first year. You're just
That's why I've learned like love is more than that. That's that feeling. Or
that feeling is not love. That feeling.
Yeah, because love is sacrifice.
That feeling is lust.
Because love, that's lust. That's romantic. That's the Disney fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
But true love is sacrifice. True love is duty and service, and those aren't sexy romantic words, but that's what love is, honestly.
For real.
Because you could,
and it takes a big person to be able to do it.
Hell yeah.
Especially for as long as you have to when you raise kids. I mean, you're banking on 20, 30 years you're raising kids.
Oh yeah.
That's a long time. I did it for.
Because you can fall out of like with a motherfucker, but if you love someone, that's it. Because you wake it up, it's your fucking 10-year marriage. Your girl had 2-3 kids. She don't fuck you like she used to. And
what if she's fat?
She's fat, and you gotta fucking wake up at 6 o'clock every fucking day. You fucking gotta make that. You made that decision to
get the kids off to school. Then you gotta make a breakfast, get them off to school, make sure their homework's done, pack their backpack, get them dressed, brush their fucking hair, brush their fucking teeth. It is fucking.
Oh, she's spitting right now. She's spitting right now.
It's so hard to do every single day. Every single day. And then you have to go to work. And then you have to work all day. And then you have to find someone to watch the kids from the time they get off of school till you get home from work, which is fucking ridiculous. And then, thank God, when they get old enough, they can go home for 2 hours. And then you get home, you have to make dinner. I always made, like, stuff from scratch because I don't like box shit, and I wanted my kids to have good food. So you make a from-scratch dinner. You got to make sure they do their homework. And you have to do it for them sometimes if they're being stupid. I never did, though. But some parents do. And you got to make sure they take a bath or a shower, put on their pajamas, read them books, make sure they go to bed. And sometimes they don't want to go to bed and you want to throttle them. Go to bed. Go to bed. Doesn't that sound horrible, Dwight?
I'm like, after that, just...
I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
That glowing explanation of what is being married, I'm definitely...
No, that's raising children.
Yeah,
that's
raising children?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
And then you got a spouse you got to deal with in the middle of all that.
Oh, you must have felt bad,
you know
bro. You had to do all them shits all those days, and you get to bed like, damn, I gotta suck some dick now?
Oh, God, yeah. No, go to sleep. I'm going to sleep. And then you want some, and then they don't want it. And you're like, fuck you. I did all this shit for everybody.
Bro, I'd be angry with it, too.
Yeah. You know what I did, though? And it's probably not great, but after the kids went to bed, I would put down fucking like a 6-7 pack of Miller Lite, fucking smoke a half pack of cigarettes, and smoke a joint on my patio while I read my book.
You earned it.
I did it every night. I did it every night. Oh, it was like once they got out of the bathtub, I cracked one open. I was ready to go. Oh man, yeah, it's a commitment. It is a commitment, and a lot of people don't know what they're getting into when they do it.
No,
I don't tell a lot of people that like that. So consider yourself lucky or unlucky. I don't know how you see it.
Yeah, I think that's what they call a trauma dump.
What is it? Ego death.
Ego death.
Ego death.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was one.
I don't think so.
I don't know what that is.
Ego death is like, with psychedelics, with shrooms and stuff. That's what kind of typically happens in the beginning. Like,
The kind of what?
Typically happens in the beginning. A lot of time you'll feel like you're falling. You may have like a vision of you like dying or something traumatic. But that's like the little kind of the representation of your ego dying. And that's why I like shrooms and shit, because like if you use it for more of an intense purpose, like not just trying to get fucked up off of it, you could really kind of gain emotional accesses to places in your mind, and you're able to deal with things, and you're able to see things differently and from a different point of view with your reduced ego, because you don't realize how much your ego affects your everyday perception and how you see things, process things, think about things, and kind of deal with your own trauma thoughts.
This is a whole nother podcast, but I think when I went to the realm, that happened to me.
I mean, we gotta do a part 3 or something, man.
Yeah. Well, the realm's gonna be another one of its own, but I think that happened to me. Totally, what you just said happened to me after I went there. I think of everything differently now. I'm like a fucking completely different person. It's crazy.
That's why I fuck with mushrooms. Like I do them by myself, because I see it as more just like, all right, I'm kind of just.
We could do them together. That'd be cool.
That'd be dope.
We would have fun.
Oh
we
yeah.
We'd explain the fucking universe.
Exactly.
We totally would. Oh my god, that'd be so fun. We build a spaceship to Mars. Oh my god. Well, one time I did acid in Mexico, and we had rented a jungle house in Acapulco. There was a private cenote.
That sounds great.
Oh, it's amazing, dude. And the cenote is kind of like our springs here. It's just really clear water, like 72 degrees. There's little fish swimming around. But it's like a cave system in Mexico. It's like a underwater cave system that runs through the whole of Yucatan. And so our house was built over one, and it was like a palapa house, which is like the thatched palm leaf roof and shit. It was so cool. And it was open air. There weren't even walls. It was so cool. I'll show you pictures of it. But I sat down there tripping on acid. I sat on the edge of the cenote with my feet in the water, and there was like fish nibbling at my feet. The water was cold, and up on the cave, the roof of the cave, there was bats. The whole roof of the cave was covered in bats. And they were flying in, they were flying out, and I had my feet in the water, and the fish were nibbling on my feet, and the bats are flying in, they're flying out. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. And then I saw the souls of all the Mayan people that lived in that area. Their like faces or their souls on that cave after all the bats went out of it.
That sounds insane.
It was fucking insane.
Crazy.
I have goosebumps. Hair on my arms is standing up.
I've never had vivid like kind of I guess visions or hallucinations.
Oh, I have. And there was mosaics built into those round mosaics built into the concrete.
I heard with
and they were going.
You see a lot of mosaics and patterns and stuff with.
But they were real mosaics, and they were just moving like every which way.
I remember the first time I did mushrooms, I was over in Winter Garden at my buddy's apartment, and I remember I was watching TV. It was a commercial, and it was like it's like a forest. But the camera's on the floor, and you see like the trees in the night sky. And I remember the trees started like twining in on themselves. That's why I knew it was hitting. And it was just like, oh, I need to go outside, because that's
fun.
Yeah, with tripping, like I'm always like had a aware of a consciousness even within it. Because it was one time on my 30th birthday, I went over to Daytona, and I did it out there at the hotel.
You have to tell yourself you're still yourself.
It was daytime. I had like tea. I remember I was on the 7th floor balcony, and I remember I was tripping, and I remember like, I could fucking reach down there and grab it. And I'm telling myself, no, you can't. You would die if you do that.
Oh, my God.
I just started laughing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I was like, that's
you were,
right.
like, sweating.
Yeah. And it was weird. Like, I was, like, looking down, and, like, it was, like, I guess whatever platform or top or whatever place it was. I feel like I could literally reach my hand and grab it. And I'm, like, telling myself in my mind, I was like, if you fall off this balcony, you'll die. And it wasn't, like, scary. I just started laughing. I
remember tripping so hard that, like, you have to tell yourself that you're still you.
Yeah.
You have to tell yourself you're still here on Earth. Now everything is warped into this fucking psychotic, like, play that you're in. It's gonna end eventually, and it's cool. Just think of it as cool.
Exactly. You gotta let go, but still have the consciousness. Yeah.
But sometimes I've lost it a couple times for a little bit. Have you ever do acid?
Yes, I did acid once.
Just once?
Yeah, it was cool. I was just up for hours.
Acid's a real commitment because it can last like 10 hours.
I was up for forever, I felt.
It will last forever. And then you cut the come down lasts forever too.
Yeah.
So that's like 24 hours right there.
Oh yeah,
and then you need like 24 hours to sleep. You need a good 48 solid hours to do that shit.
I remember I was driving, and I felt
driving's no bueno.
Yeah, I felt like I was like in a fucking tank for some reason. I felt like I was so much on top of the road. And I remember watching the sky. It was like very vivid colors, and like it was like moving crazy.
I was tripping one time in Buffalo, and me and my friends had gone to the mall. We were teenagers, and I couldn't find my car for the longest time. I couldn't find my friends. We didn't have cell phones. I went in the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. Oh, it was crazy. I remember looking at jeans and just wondering what they were, and couldn't find my friends. Somehow we all found each other. I have no idea how. It must have taken us hours. And then we finally found my car. I get in the car. I start driving. Oh my fucking God! It was nighttime and it was snowing. It was like Star Wars. It was like Star Wars. Oh my God, that's all I could see was the snow. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see the road and nothing.
Luke Skywalker, take the wheel.
Dude, I freaking pulled over and I was like, dude, I ain't driving. I got the back seat. I don't care who the fuck is driving, but it ain't me. I'll walk.
Someone else. Someone else.
Yeah. God. Well, that went off on a little tangent, huh?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, hope you guys think we're funny. We think we're funny. I always amuse myself. Well, we can either wind it up, we can take a break, or we can keep on going.
Hey,
Three choices.
It's up to you, Tits LaRue.
I think we can wind it up. We've been on for quite a while now. We can do a part 3 if you guys think we should.
I feel the connection. It's real.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. We have a good vibe.
Yeah.
But I think maybe we'll do a poll at the end of this one and ask you guys if you want a My One Black Friend part 3. Yeah. See if you like our vibe. See if you guys like our vibe.
Hey, fuck with me, bro.
Because we do.
Everyone else does. I'm just saying.
Me too. Me too, man.
I don't want to brag or fucking, play my own trombone, but I'm a big deal. I'm a man. I'm in my city of Claremont.
Yeah, same. My ex told me that the only one that thought I was funny was me. But God damn it, that's not true. I know it's not true. I swear it's not true.
Yeah, okay.
So you guys tell me if it's true or not. All right, kids. It was great having you on our podcast, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night.
Always a pleasure and honor.
Wonderful having you, D-Wite.
Thank you for having me over.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we'll have a part 3.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.